Viskama, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming to join us today. It's as Verity said, that it's really exciting to see that the people tuning in from all over the world, and really privileged to meet you all. So my name is Naoko Mabon. I'm a curator based in Oban in Scotland, and I'm facilitating today's event, which is the fifth conversation event of the Nurturing Creativity Piece by Piece project of the Rockfield Centre, funded by Creative Scotland. And this project is actually the 2022 program of Eco Creative Cluster Project, which started last year, just kind of end of lockdown, but pretty much in the coronavirus time. And this Eco Creative Cluster is a project focusing on natural dyeing, which involves two main activities. One activity is developing a community dye garden in the grounds of the Rockfield Centre, which is led by Auburn-based textile artist Deborah Gray, who is in London tonight, so unfortunately she can't really tune in. But Deborah is leading this dye garden development with local volunteers. And by the way, the dye is here we talk about is DYE, not DIE. And in parallel to this dye garden development, led by myself, there is a network weaving part, and that is this virtual event series. And we meet virtually with practitioners from different localities in the world who also work on natural dyeing. And the practitioner we meet today is Furio Konjo. Furio is the founder and the general manager of Shimena, which is a textile brand and workshop in Alba Minch in southern Ethiopia. Established in 2014, Shimena produces hand-woven textile products with locally sourced raw cotton and dye materials. So welcome, Furio, and thank you so much for joining us today from Alba Minch, which is 8 p.m., I believe. So thank you so much. And now Furio will share with us what he, as Shimena is doing with his locality, with the local artisans, and carrying the stream of the local heritage of making textiles for future generations. And as Verity said, after the Furio's presentation, there is a Q&A session. So please sum up, what you want to ask, or please feel free to put your question in the chat. So thank you so much, and over to you, Furio.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your invitation. So my name is Furio Konjo, and in Amharic, in Ethiopia, we speak Amharic language. Furio means like something fruit, and the Konjo means like handsome in Amharic. So my name is Furio Konjo, and from Arba Minch, the southern part of Ethiopia. So we call Arba Minch like we have 40 different spring. So Arba means 40 in Amharic. Minch means spring. So in our small town, we have 40 different spring. So our small town Arba Minch is derived from this locally available forest spring. So thank you so much for your invitation. I'm so happy and to share and to introduce and trying to weave a good friendship with you all. So I am here to share all my story and what I learned from my ancient elders of our community. So I born and grow up here in South Ethiopia, and we live in a mountains area, and we are one of our places, one of the hotspot tourism area of Ethiopia. All international travelers shall always come to our small town and our mountain to visit the nature as well as to visit the culture. And weaving, spinning is one of our cultural attraction in our local community. So I start weaving when I was child in our community, in our locality. In each and every compound, we have one permanent loom. So everyone from the family has access to practice on the loom. So I grew up with my uncle. He is one of a master weaver in our community. When he take rest, I always took his loom and the practice everything on that loom. So this is, I start and I learn the skill of weaving my family. So during our community or in our family, our elders use weaving as like a part-time job. So we have a good season or rainy season, our elders use for farming, and there is no rain or spring and the summer coming, everyone is back to the weaving. So this is a common activity in our community, but still weaving, we respect, and the weaving everyone learn and are able to weave. So can you take next slide, please? So the beginning of Shimmana, as I explain you, I learned weaving from my elders, from my community. So I got an access to work with the USAID project, which is Ethiopian Sustainable Tourism Alliance, funded from the US government. And I have got access or opportunity to work with NGO as project officer. I was working between the local artisans and the potential buyers who live in Addis Ababa. So Addis Ababa is the capital city of Ethiopia. It's 500 kilometers from my community. So during the project time, I supporting the local artisans to get market and to get order from the potential buyers who live in Addis. So during this time, I was paid by the project. I have a salary, but I am responsible to support and mobilize the local community. So the project is one of, they have a livelihood project and creating income for the locality and supporting them to discourage not to go to the forest resource. And because of the market problem, makes them to go to the forest to use our natural resource as income generation. So this is the idea of the project. So I used to work with them. And in the same time, there is a lot of training are coming for the local artisans. So I am able to attend all the training with the artisans. And so one of the sustainable approach of the project was providing training for the local or for the project officer. So I'm able to get all this opportunity. And in 2013, I remember it was June, the USAID project phased out. They stopped everything. So when I see all the communities are ready to back to home, so no one to sustain or to work the livelihood project, because I know I'm the one who grew up in the local community. I know their challenge, they have a gap, they have a challenge to deal with the buyers, they have challenge for costing and the pricing. So I decided to open my own social enterprise. So that situation driven me to create this social enterprise called Shimmana. Shimmana is Amharic word, means weaving. Weaving. Shimmana means weaving. So my brand name, I want to teach all my clients, the stakeholders, one of word of Amharic like Shimmana. And I have a slogan, weaving friendship, because during my weaving experience, I saw the combination between warp and the weft. Finally, I have like this kind of strength, fabrics coming after the weaving of, or after the combination of warp and the weft. So the same thing, I want to weave a good friendship with everyone in the world who like our job and who want to learn from our experience. So this is the idea I'm trying to Shimana and the weaving friendship. So then after the project, I'm trying to keep all my community who are previously supported by the USAID project. And because I saw in my community, a lot of NGOs are coming to support the weaving of the local community. But after the project phase out, I have never seen no one is sustained because there is a challenge. And I want to see the idea of the project to sustain for longer time. So after that, my Shimana is established and working with the same artisans group and also supporting the independent weavers group in the mountains. And my idea is not only the beauty of the textile. I'm different from others to respect my artisans, to pay a very reasonable labor cost, to make them to be proud as weavers. Because in Ethiopia, in our local community, I saw everyone is love to see the textile, everyone love to see the quality, but no one is check the life of artisans. For so many years in my locality, I saw there is so many brokers in between the fashion designers and the artisans. So there is a brokers, there is a middleman, small amount of money comes to the artisans, that makes them to discourage them to be an artist. So I come up with the idea of respecting them and pushing them to save money, also to teach them how to. Sometimes if I pay some money, that's difficult for them to manage the finance. So we have a basic training and a basic teaching of alphabet, the basic writing, reading. So this all makes them to love the ancient skill of weaving. So now my Shimana working on all this. And the other thing, we have local farmers, we have women who live in prison house, the prisons, because I live in a small town of Arba Minch. After 30 kilometers, all are the mountains. So if there is something happen in the mountains, they come down to the prison house in Arba Minch. So I use these women in the prison house, not for the cheap labor. I want to support them when they are in the prison, because everyone, especially the women who grow up in the mountain, they grow up with the skill of spinning. So like sometimes they come for 2 years, 3 years sentences without any activity. That's not good for their mentality. So I'm trying to support them to provide raw cotton, and they spin regularly for us. So this all the Shimana is currently working, and we produce hand-woven textile for home decor, fashion accessories, and from natural fiber. So this is how I start the Shimana. Can you take the next slide, please? So weavers, weaving in our tradition, the men are the one who weave. This is a long tradition in our area, but it's still difficult to get the exact date of weaving in our community. So we have a traditional loom. It's made up of from bamboo and eucalyptus tree. So in our culture, in our tradition, we have 4 types of traditional clothes. I want to explain you. Next slide. So this is, we call it gabi, one of a non-Ethiopian clothes. It's worn by the men during the daytime. To finish gabi, it takes 2 up to 3 days. And gabi is from the hand span and from machine span. And especially the men who are in the church, always they use gabi like this. Next slide. So bulluko is one of also traditional product of our community. Bulluko traditionally served as a gift from a bride to her husband. In our community, in our culture, anyone, especially if I have a sister, she's ready to get an husband, I'm the one to make bulluko for her. Then she give a gift for husband. So bulluko is typically a very, very thick blanket and constantly worn by chief or lead of or village leaders during the negotiation conflict resolution time. Always they use the worn bulluko because all the mountains are like, we are like up to 3,000 above sea level. This is a place our communities are living. That's why they use bulluko to protect or to get cold. Next slide, please. So we have natala here. So natala is a very fine, it's a light blanket. Natala worn by the women for the market day as well as when they are in the church. So Gabi has 4 separate panels, but natala has only 2 separate panels. So all our natala has a decorative at the edge of, because your skill of weaving is always people gauge or evaluate how you create your own pattern. As you know, ancient time, we have a plain weaving, but through our ancient creativity, the pattern, especially the master weaver, when we are saying always someone is a master weaver, you know how to create pattern, a very complicated and something like or decorative colors that attracts your eye. So natala we use, the lady who likes the word like this for the church time, who cover her head. This is the church time weaving. The word natala, and the other one is for the market. If we have a market day, when she want to go to the market, she use natala like this. Next slide, please. So this is dunguza. Dunguza has yellow, black, and red color. So our community used dunguza as a scarf at ancient time, and at ancient time also, but nowadays they are not using for this natural dye, but ancient time all these bright colors are from natural dye. And also this color combination at ancient time, the idea was it was worn by the ancient leaders or the leaders or village leaders, so anyone can identify them from the far way. Like if you see these very bright colors, you have to respect your elders and you let them to pass by the way. So that's why the reason they come up with a combination of bright color at ancient time. So when you come to Arba Minch, you will see all this color anyone can use, like a hat and like a scarf. So a lot of people are using in our community dunguza like this. Next slide, please. Cotton farm. So as we now currently we live in Arba Minch. It is 40 kilometers from the mountains, but in the mountains we have a skill of weaving, a skill of spinning. The farm is in Arba Minch. So women who are the merchant always down to Arba Minch collect cotton from the local market or from local farmers, and they take all the cotton to the mountains area, the spinning. So before spinning, the kids always helps the mom to remove the seed. So each cotton has a seed. So there is activity like this, or our the kids help the mom removing the seed like this. So each cotton has a seed inside. We have Ethiopia, we have injera. I don't know if you heard about that. We have a very common name, injera. It's like a pizza way of food. Before making our injera, we have oil in this seed. Our women use the oil to clean the injera making materials. It makes smooth before making injera. So again, women, after removing the seed, there is people want to buy and they resold the seed. So if the women, she has someone in her home, she give the cotton to produce gabi or bulluko. If she has no one in her home who are weaving, she take all the cotton to sell in the local market for the weavers. Next slide. Cotton spinning is like, as I explained you earlier, a job for women. So we have, we call it drop spindle. I know you call it drop spindle. So we call it liqaqa in our local language, or inzirt in Amharic. So liqaqa made up of from bamboo stick and clay. So women buy all these materials from local market, and they constructed at their home before spinning. So I have the one who have a social enterprise, always supporting local women by creating spinning job opportunity for them and paying for spinning service. So women always, when they stay at their home, sometimes when they take their cow or something, they always the same thing, they have spinning. So we collect the cones. This is the cotton. The cotton is corn from them, and we make everything in our workshop. So always our women used to spin like this. Next slide, please. Traditional weaving. So as I explain you, so weaving, one of an ancient activity in our community. Everyone knows how to weave. Now I am here to preserve my ancient weaving skill, because I have a challenge. I saw the current generation want to work in office. They want to work in computer. No one is back to the weaving, because I am here to start weaving when I was a child. I have a background with hotel professional, tourism professional, but I prefer with my weaving business because it's my identity. It helps my community to get finance, to help my family also. So I am inspired and I'm passionate with this. So all this workshop, all these activities are common, and still I want to push. I hope the young generation who grow up in a small city also will join my project, because nowadays, if you ask anyone who are in with a loom, they grow up or they come from the mountain or from rural area of Ethiopia. The young generation who grow up in town area want to work in office, want to work in computer. So I'm pushing and trying to encourage the young generation to preserve the ancient weaving of my elders. Next slide. So the dyeing, nowadays, Ethiopia, our clothes more are white color. Also, nowadays, I saw most weavers in Ethiopia import a synthetic raw material from outside. But in my workshop, I still always looking for maybe the bad thing. What I saw is we have no museum, no one is open a research center for us. But I asked so many elders at ancient time, they use so many flowers, so many roots, the leaves. But nowadays, no one documented for us. But after my travel experience India, last year I was in Mexico, Oaxaca. I saw how they extract natural dye from different, like avocado seed, like mango leaves. So that helps me to immediately, when I was back from Oaxaca, Mexico, I asked my elders and why they stopped. But the problem was no one transformed the skill of natural dye. So after my Mexico travel, I start natural dye, but I have a basic knowledge. I need to work more, and I use aluminum, and I use copper and iron as a mordant, but still not stopped. I'm pushing. So nowadays I have natural dye activity. Also, in addition to natural dye, I use reactive dye with organic dye imported from India. Next slide. Next slide. The finishing, after weaving, we have dedicated women who are responsible to finish all the finished fabric. Our finishing work involves fringing, stitching of different panels by hand, cutting of the edge, and stitching labels, and ironing, So all these detailed activities are by local women. I'm trying to collect women who previously stay at the forest area to use the forest as income generation. And I discourage them to go to the forest back to this because my work helps. It has a lot of activity, and my hand-woven textile program has manual. Everything is labor intensive. That helps me to create job opportunity for more local women. Especially, I prefer the women for the quality control issue and for finishing. Next slide. So artisans, nowadays I based in Arba Minj, but most of people are from the mountains. I have my own workshop, a small workshop. More than 25 artisans are working with me, and the other artisans who are in prison house, and the other artisans who live in the mountains area. I always providing them raw materials. After they finish, we collect them, the finished product. So we pay in a piece rate. We encourage them to save money. After saving, I'm responsible to make a small business plan for them to open a business. So when they get benefit, when they get income from the weaving, they like and they encouraged to work more. Also, they encouraged to share the weaving skill for the small kids. I saw before 2 years here, no one is ready to share the skills for the kids because the problem was they were not benefited from the weaving trade. As I explained you earlier, there was a lot of brokers and the middleman. A small amount of money goes to the artisans that discourage them to work as artisans and to not to share for the kids. But nowadays, when they get a benefit, they share the skill for the others. Next slide. So this, for example, we have always we have a woman before sewing or before anything. I always invite them to start from the scratch. How pick cotton from the plant, how to spin, the weaving. Our weaving in our community in Highland, the weaving is outside like this. So the weaving accessories are here, including the reeds. This is, for example, one of, we call it reed. It has a master weaver in our community. Everything is from bamboo. So this makes our Ethiopian fabric very fine, soft, and beautiful texture. So it has also their own master weaver who are responsible to make every weaving accessories for our community. Next slide. So our natural dye looks like this. I use some endemic plants, Ethiopian endemic plants, and I use also avocado seed. We use different leaves, eucalyptus. Also, I have something, gray shade is from eucalyptus. So all you see this yarn is I did in my workshop from natural plant. Next slide. So for natural dye, I use aluminum, 15 up to 20% weight of material, copper up to 2%, iron 2%. So I use onion skull, avocado seed, eucalyptus tree, and some of endemic tree of Ethiopia. Some, as you know, we have in Ethiopia more than 1,000 tree species are available. From this, 125 are only available in Ethiopia, only from Ethiopia. It's endemic for Ethiopia, the plant type. Next slide. So this is my contact. This is one of my product. You can enjoy my website. So, and I hope the next will be a small video I have. You will see live demonstration or small video I organize. Please, can you take the video?
Welcome to my hand-woven textile industry. My name is Freo Konjo. I am the owner and the general manager of Shimana, Jano Handicraft Enterprise. We based in Arba Minch, which is the southern part of Ethiopia. Shimana was founded in 2014, born out of desire to preserve the ancient traditional weaving of Ethiopia and to generate work option, both by maintaining slow fashion enterprises. Currently, our product comprises traditional hand-woven scarf, shawl, poncho, cape to be worn by men and women. We have a big workshop in Arba Minch, which is surrounded by cotton plant, and we have certified staff members in our workshop, including local artisans to develop our beautiful designs. We have 2 sales outlets in Arba Minch, the one in Paradise Lodge Arba Minch, the other one in Haile Resort Arba Minch. Also, we export our beautiful designs in worldwide. In addition to this, we have 38 home workers living in surrounding of Highland, giving them work opportunity and providing continued education, making our contribution for the well-being and the livability of the Highland community. Since about 7 years, Shimana produces the finest and the colorful fabric on authentic handloom. Each fabric starts on its raw materials to keep our traditional fabrication authentic and to minimize our environmental impact. We focus on sourcing local and sustainable materials. Therefore, we used cotton for hand spinning is sourced from a small organic farm nearby Arba Minch. We collect all raw cotton from local farmers and distribute for the women to separate the seeds from the fiber, spin it into a drop spindle into a beautiful soft threads. The skill of hand spinning is passed down from mother to daughter, and most women in rural area spin at their home for the extra income. Hand weaving is a way of life for centuries in Ethiopia. Even today, almost all traditional clothes and our beautiful designs are made on traditional loom. Shimana is working to rekindle the tradition of natural dye in Ethiopia. We experiment flowers, seeds, roots from local forest and from the highland trees. We use environmentally friendly dyes to tint our cotton product. This enables our customer wash the product into washing machine using conventional soaps. We have a team of dedicated women to finish each product and make sure it's ready to go out for sale. Our finishing work involves cutting off the edges of scarf, sewing on label, and ironing, and checking quality for each pieces. I have a vision to improve the quality life of my community through creating new jobs and creating promising futures. Ethiopia is full of breathtaking nature. I have to protect the beauty of Ethiopia for the coming generation. I care for my community.
Wow, thank you so much, Furio. That's quite lots to take on, but a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. It's always lovely to hear your story. It's, I think, third time we meet online, but well, first of all, how I came across your practice is that your slogan, weaving friendship, that is so resonating with what our project is aiming for. You know, weaving, we are saying that weaving network of natural dyeing, but the basically is the same. You know, this centralizing this making textile using traditional method, and then kind of passing down the tradition or heritage to the coming generation. So yeah, it's really resonate, and then I super admire what you're doing, and then the responsibility, the how you take on the responsibility, that's I totally admire. And then also, yeah, it's, you know, taking responsibility for lots of different things, as you're saying that taking responsibility for your environment and then community and then coming generations. So quite lots of responsibilities, I have to say. But well, lots of things I want to ask, but can you tell us a little bit about, because I remember you're saying educating women or girls are the key. And can you, I remember you're talking about that in our first meeting, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me a little bit in our community, especially when you travel the rural parts of Ethiopia, women has a lot of responsibilities. Even let me share you the reason. The traditional, it was like traditional division, weaving for the men, spinning for the women. But when we educate, when we provide skill training, we can create opportunity for women to spin. This means like traditionally, the man has the one who take something good for him, or he's the one to lead. And not only this, I saw women always responsible, take care of the farm or take care of the cow or take care of the children. But they have access. When you create opportunity for them, they will take everything in a responsible way. So the idea of education, I remember like when I was grade 4 student, I not attend school for 2 years to help my mom to create income for her. So that means if you are not educating the men, the women, if you are not create job opportunity or you are not creating entrepreneurship for women, difficult for them to send kid to school. You know, the reason why, I remember for 2 years, I was a little bit work in other area to support or to help my mom because she has no income. So nowadays, my project, education, empowering, skill provide training for women is every woman should to send kid to school, not to job or not to trade. Or so this is one I want to educate, always empower local women to get their own income. Yeah.
Giving having income gives them freedom and then also the choice, doesn't it? Like you know, they can have a choice to, you know, use this money, how to use money. And then you said that quite often those women want to spend this money to kids' education, the children's education. So that's actually, it could produce a good cycle in a long term.
Yes. Yeah. If they get their income, they can send kid to school, not to job. And I saw one experience in my workshop. I have women who assist each weaver winding. We have a small winding machine. Always we are paying piece rate.
Yeah.
The weaver gets more money. Women after winding, they get small amount of money. But when I see the women are very responsible to save money, to use in the right way. Still, we have a challenge with the men. Sometimes, most time, they want to enjoy. There is something happen. So this maybe I have to say to women to provide them skill training. Imagine with a small amount of money, they manage everything, everything in their home. Imagine when they become a weaver, if they get more money, how they will change their community, themselves, the family. So this is the reason always in the project of educating women.
Maybe this someone in this space can help me, but because my background is not weaving or textile, I didn't know that weaving is actually men's work. And then you mentioned, and then when we first met, Deborah was there, and then Deborah was saying, yeah, oh yes, that's true here as well. I mean, here she probably means that in Scotland, and weaving is a man's work, or like having that kind of skill, or maybe the machineries, or like, yeah, loom. That is quite important, which means that the man's job or something. So it's quite eye-opening for me. I didn't know that kind of division.
Yeah, I mean, in other country, I saw the women can weave also.
Right.
Yeah, but in our community, in culture, it's like traditional job division. But nowadays, I can empower the women, no problem, no one will stop them.
Yeah.
But in other country, I saw the women are also weaving. Yeah,
I see. And also you slightly mentioned, but what I really like and admire is that you slightly mentioned in the presentation that you are, how can I say, you're creating, well, encourage them to attain skills, but also improving the working environment or working conditions for local communities. And then it doesn't mean that you set up a big workshop and then everybody coming and then working, but sometimes it could mean that let them work at home. That's what I admire. You said that you tell women that no, you can work at home so that you can work anytime you can, and then you can look after your children or do whatever you need to do. I think that way, it gives us such a freedom or flexibility for people.
Yeah, when you see my background, when I was like 5 years old, my uncle always used to weave in the same room, in one compound. When I saw the weaving activity, so that makes me to inspired. You see, so when I encourage home workers who weave, who spin at their home, who knows their kids, the children will see this thing, that makes them to be passionate or to inspired, and there will be another Freo for the community on weaving. So that's why I always, because we have I organized intermediary, this young generation or this boy or this guy working between my social enterprise and the home workers. He's responsible to distribute the raw material and responsible to collect the finished materials. So we have a motorbike. We visit every compound, each compound, when they need something. So this is what I'm working for home workers or outsource.
Yeah, I think that's the flexibility you have is amazing, I thought. Well, I'm aware that it's kind of, I feel like I spoke too much, but if anyone has any questions for Furio or Shimena, feel free to pop in your questions, or you can, the hands up sign, then you can speak up if you like, if you have any questions. While waiting, some questions coming in. Can you tell us, Furio, you said that somehow you got inspired in Mexico, Oaxaca.
Yeah.
Where did you visit? What did you see?
Yeah, it was like 2020. We have a Texto 2022. It was like a gathering program. Yeah, 2020.
That's Corona time, isn't it?
Before Corona.
Oh, before.
Immediately after when I'm back, I remember 2020 on February, the Corona that was the time. So
I see.
Yeah, so during at that time, we have a gathering program organized in Mexico City. So we have like presentation, a small bazaar, sales outlet. We meet each other. So I finally decided to stay more 2 weeks. Like it takes 7 hours from Mexico City to Oaxaca. I use a local bus. So when I arrived here, one of artisans in Oaxaca, he invited me to stay his own compound. So during at that time, I'm traveling to see the local community. So when I see the weaving technique is completely different. They have a back strap weaving. Ours is different. Yeah, they have the back strap. They have something at the back. They are not in a chair. They stand in the weaving technique. And the same thing when I see they use the natural dye. When I see they use avocado seed. When I see they use mango leaves. So the same thing also available in my community. Immediately when I'm back from Mexico, I asked the elders, yes, ancient time, we have natural dye, but we forget the type of the plant, the type of flowers, which flowers is for which color. We have no document, we have no one to tell this story. Again, was surrounding all the mountains. Then the skill, experience I gained from Mexico helps me to work on this. But still, I am always stay my elders to ask them which kind of flowers, which kind of trees, for which color, how they use. So it's like still I'm in a good way asking them to get the plant for different dye colors. So this makes me to ask my ancient and to learn more about the natural dye. I hope my children, the next generation, will have a research center, small museum I will organize to refer the natural dye area of this. Yeah. So this is the story I start natural dye.
Yeah. And then your answer reminded me that I completely forgot to ask my last question, which was I usually ask any artist we invite to give us one name of practitioner you already contact or it got inspired in a natural dye context. And then your answer was exactly your elders in the community. Yeah. I think that's a lovely answer.
Yeah, that's still, we have an amazing activity of handicraft, an amazing artisans we have. Yeah, but it takes time to ask so many people. Even today, for the warp we use machine spun, for the weft we use hand spun. So our gabi, our traditional product is from the combination between warp and the weft. But ancient time, before any factory are here, bows are from hand spun. The warp, the weft from hand. Yeah, this is ancient time, like without any factory, there is nothing in Ethiopia. These are the ancient people to create fabric different clothes from this technique. So still I'm pushing, asking so many people in my
if we imagine how much time it takes to make a cross, then it's understandable that some of the cross, like a gabi, for instance, that's for feast or people who have a high rank.
Yeah, so I hope I will do all this. Yeah.
We've got a few questions in the chat for you. Linda has asked, does only white cotton grow in your area, or is anyone growing colored cotton, for example, brown or green cotton?
We have only white cotton, this one. I remember like when I was in Mexico, I saw brown cotton. I bring seed from there. I'm trying so many times in Arbamint, it's not grow.
Oh no.
Because of the soil, because of the weather, I don't know, but now we have white cotton. So we have 2 cotton species we call it in Amharic, Jeferenj and the Habesha. So when you say Jeferenj means like species is from outside. it has a very short tree. Once we collected the cotton, we take out all the plant and the farming again start. But we have Habesha cotton, long tree, always not remove the plant once we collect, always stay with the tree, waiting for the water, waiting for the rain, and always it gives us cotton. So we differentiate, like when we remove the seeds of the Farangi one, we cannot get a very black seeds easily. From the Habesha one, we can get black easily, and the Habesha cotton or our cotton plant stay longer time, has a silky structure. Always when you wash the clothes, it become white, and white. So this is how I differentiate the two cotton types. So we have white cotton plant.
Our next question is from Susan Martin, who did our last talk with us. She's asked what plants were used for the traditional red, yellow, and black that you showed in your presentation earlier.
For example, we have scientific name, Hydnea abyssinica, that a little bit helps me to get light yellow shade. Hydnea abyssinica. I used scientific name of this tree, Hydnea abyssinica. Hydnea abyssinica. It helps me to create small light shade of yellow, and the other African jumper, it helps me to get, how do I say, some bright brown or something like a light burgundy color. And from Adebawa or from mescal flower, it helps me to get some beige shade of color. So always extracting of different colors from different trees I'm pushing all this activity, and I hope I will get more colors, but still we have no any plant. It helps to get some blue shade. Yeah, but I tried so many plant leaves, roots, stem with copper, with alum, with iron, and green shade, some light red shade, some yellow shade, some beige, some gray shade. So still I'm searching a lot, and I hope, yeah, I will see more in the coming future.
Did you have any follow-on questions from that, Susan?
No, thank you. That's fine.
How do you advise for the brew? That's all the dyers are kind of all wanting to get brew, don't they?
Well, the only true blue you will get are from the indigo bearing plants, really.
Yeah.
You can use iron to sadden colors, which will give you a kind of gray shade and will turn sort of pinks purpley, but that's the nearest you'll get to it, I would have thought.
Great. Yeah, indigo, maybe in West Africa I heard from different people. Still I will looking for species to try plant here. But in West Africa, in Mali, in Senegal, they use indigo. Still I looking for someone to get to try planting in Arbamint.
That's an interesting project.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Elaine, who says, are you worried about light fastness?
Can you explain light fastness means? Sorry.
Elaine, I don't know if you want to elaborate on this, but if not, just the degradation of the color on the fabrics you're using.
Yeah, I mean, what I see when I start natural dye, previously I used for 45 up to 50 minutes with a temperature of 40 up to 60. But after this thing happened, I start overnight always. After I'm back to the overnight with the yarn, as well as the color. The next day, when I see it's not difficult, the color is run out or not fade. So still I used every natural dye always I use overnight, not for 40 minutes, not for 1 hour, not for 2 hours, always overnight helps me to see not fade color. And this is the technique currently I'm using. But previously I have a challenge. I saw fade fastness, but after overnight technique, things looks nice for me. Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions that they'd like to ask before we finish up, or any last comments or anything?
I imagine some of them.
I have a question though. What's next for Ximena?
Good
The
question.
next for Ximena will have their own organic cotton farm.
Mhm.
Without any factory. We want to process our organic cotton in our workshop. So I will have farm to fashion project with social impact.
Oh.
I will have my own organic. I will not weave cotton with chemicals or with no free from any chemical. Then I have my own industry, remove the seed from the cotton. I have my own factory for spinning, then my own weaving garments. So I will be after 5 years, I will provide free from chemicals, organic certifies, and will provide in the textiles with a story behind. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And I will establish training center Arba Minch. I want to, like, anyone who traveled the world can come to my workshop and the weaving friendship, as well as learn spinning, learn weaving, and access to interact with my local artisans. So now I am in Arba Minch Resort. I don't know anyone on this group. Great Ethiopian athlete, Haile Gebrselassie. He has a resort nearby my workshop. So this is my local sales outlet, local sales display. People who travel or who want to travel or want to visit our area, always we invite them to take them to the workshop.
Great.
So we give them short handicraft too, starting from picking of cotton from the tree, removing of the seed, the spinning, the dyeing, weaving. So everyone who have access to try this, and it will be good for us, and to have an amazing friendship. Anyone who travel the world.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'd love to do if I have money.
Please come to Arba Minch. Please come visit.
Oh, that's so
It's very
good.
inspiring.
Yeah.
We'll have to find a way to come and see you.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, if we could exchange skills, and I imagine that because Susan is here, Susan has dye garden in the Wool Museum in Wales, and then I was thinking that how to weave in Wales and in Arba Minch are quite different. I imagine so.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to exchange. But yeah, thank you so much. I realized that a few minutes past 7 here, and we can talk a little bit more, but just to wrap up tonight, if there are no more questions. But thank you so much for your presentations. That's so wonderful to know that what you are doing, and your passion, and then your commitment. That's really inspiring. So thank you so much. And thank you everybody for coming along. And as always, Verity, thank you so much for your support. Yes, and next event.
Next talk, our next one.
Thank you so much.
So continuing weaving our friendships further, our next talk is Katie West, who's based in Australia, and it's going to be a really interesting talk. I'll put the link in the chat now. Again, it's a free talk. All you have to do is click on the website and register, and you can join in. And that will be the last one of this series.
I know, last
Yeah.
one of this series. And then because of the time difference, the next one is again a lunchtime talk for UK time. So be aware of that, please.
So yeah, do sign up for that. And otherwise, we look forward to seeing you on that talk. And a massive thank you again to Firu and Naoko. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Well, thank you so much, Firu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.